Hello, everyone. This is Carly, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Crafting with Class. Today, I have a fun Slimline shadow box card for a special dad that I created once again using the Diamond Press Slimline shadow box dies. This is the card that I'm sharing today, and I love the way it turned out. I thought it came out just like I had imagined, and I love all the dimension in this card. So here's what you need. So you need to cut out two of the main or the full panels, and of course you're going to trim one of the edges off, and then you're going to cut two of the inlay part, and you're going to trim off one of those as well. So remember, this is going to reinforce that front part, and then this is going to serve as the background for the back of it. So when you put it together, it's going to layer like that. So this is the Slimline shadow box dies set, and that is what I used to create this card. I've gotten some things ready, so I'm using this Cattails die, and I colored them with my Copic markers. So this is the Cattail Border die from FAWN that I used to cut that out. I cut out a couple of mountain ranges using the mountain dies from FAWN as well, and then a few grassy borders using the dies that come in the Diamond Press shadow box card die. So those are the ones there, and I believe this set is still available, so if you're interested you can check that out. And then I cut out the letters of Dad and all the little elements that I'm going to decorate it with from the Pretty Pink POSH Father's Day set I just picked up recently. It's a very cute set, and so it went perfectly with this card and what I envisioned with it. Alright, so now that I have everything ready, let's go ahead and start. So I'm starting off by creating that background. So I wanted a light, hint of clouds in the background, so I'm using the cloudy stencil, and I believe this one is from MFT. And it is not slimline size, but no problem. All you need to do is just scooch it on over and just make sure that you line it up and you don't go all the way to the edge. So kind of just in the middle, and that way it's seamless. You cannot tell that you didn't use a slimline stencil. So I'm going to switch it around just to mix up the pattern, and I'm going to go across the card again, and I'm going to flip it over just to get a different type of pattern. Very simple. So there it is. So now I'm going to go ahead and crease or fold in all the creases that the die creates for you. I'm using my Teflon bone folder for that. And I have die cut these from FAWN's Woodgrain cardstock, so it's got a real nice rugged look, which I think is awesome for this dad card. So that's how that is going to fit in the back, like that. And then I'm going to put my little mountain range. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the mountain little range across, and I'm going to bring in that front panel just to make sure that the mountains are in the right area, looking at it from the front, so not too high up, not too low, so we can't see them. So once I have them in the right place, I'm going to go ahead and put that second piece. Now luckily the seam between the two mountains ends up in one of those vertical lines. So that was a lovely coinky dinky, which worked out for me. So no problem. Okay, so now the mountains are down, and so now I wanted the dad letters to be showcased through the window. So each letter would be in its own window like that. I'm going to bring in the little borders, the grassy borders, and so there are two score lines, and so the purpose of that is for it to kind of pop behind the front panel instead of like how we usually think about doing pop-ups. So this will actually pop up like this. And so now before I glue that down, I forgot I need to put in this piece first. So this piece is going to reinforce that front panel, give it a little bit of strength. So notice I did not put adhesive on the top edge on the left because I want to hide those seams. And so this way, you won't be able to see those seams, and so it'll just look like it's one continuous piece. And I just, like it because it's clean that way. And even though I'm sure the recipient won't care, but it's just something for me. So now I can go ahead and add that little grassy border. So I'm going to lay it and adhere it to the back like so. I'm going to use my bone folder just to press those in and then take a look at what it looks like from the front. And then again, making sure that it is in the right place and not too high to cover up too much of that letter. There's a second little grassy panel that will slide in front of it to create even more dimension. So I'm going to slide that in there, tuck it in front of the grassy border, just like that. And so that is how you build dimension on this card. So now I'm going to go ahead and stick that front panel first. You can do either way, but I think it's a little easier this way. And then I'm going to attach that popped back layer of grass. Now, if you haven't made this card type before, it's super easy. They make it very, very easy for you to put this together over at Diamond Press. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in that Cattails Border. I'm going to cut it in half because I just need only that part of it. So I'm going to cut it off, but I'm going to end up using the smaller piece there. So you see me there switching it out. So once I like where it is, I'm going to go ahead and add some glue so I can attach it behind that front panel and adjust it so that some of those little cattails are poking out for even more dimension. So just like that, and I'm going to go ahead and carefully trim off any of that excess, making sure I don't cut into the card, because ask me how I know. So then this is how it's looking, and then I figured, oh, I think it would look awesome if the letters are on top of the grass, because initially I was just going to stick it on top of the mountains, but once I put it on the grass, I'm like, ooh, this looks super cool, even more dimensional. So I'm adding some little pop dots to the back. And so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, basically sandwich it between the first layer of grass and then that back layer of grass. And I like the dimensionality of that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere each letter on that little grass patch, just like that, making sure that it fits within that window. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the A and attach it to the little grassy area, and then the same thing with the last letter D. And here's where I realized, oh, I'm missing a little grassy area to be able to attach it to. So I went ahead and grabbed another one. Thank goodness I just cut out a whole bunch. And then I'm going to attach it to the back. Now here is where I realized that I need to make this one a little shorter, because if you look, it's kind of like pouchy. I don't know how to describe it. So I'm going to make this a little bit shorter. So all I did was just make my own folds so that it would lay down more flat, right? Instead of more rounded. That's what I want to say. So I just did that right there. And luckily this paper is pattern paper, so it's not super thick. So that was easy to do. So now I'm thinking I want to add that other little cattail behind to give it even more to look at. So let me attach this letter first to that grassy back panel. Yes, 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 I'm liking this. All right, so now I'm ready to adhere the mechanism together, or all the pieces. So first I need to adhere that back panel so I can attach it. So I will do that first. So I'm going to add adhesive to the back of that and attach it to the back of the main card panel. This is the back of it. And then I'm going to squeeze that tab in between the white and the brown layers, and that will hide that little seam. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Remember, I didn't glue all the way down so that I could tuck in this little tab, and be able to hide it so it just looks like one continuous piece of paper. And I just like, making it as clean as possible whenever possible. So now it's the fun part, just ready to decorate. So these are all pieces that I went ahead and colored and die cut. And I'm using some wet glue and some pop dots to adhere everything. And I've laid everything out kind of where I think I want things to go. And so of course I want the little fishing rod next to the pond. And I'm going to go ahead and attach the golf all the way to the left. So I'm going to start off, I don't know all the terms for this because I don't play golf, but the little flag, I'm sure it has like an official name. I just don't know what it is. So I'll stick the little flag there. And then the little golf ball will be right next to it. And then the little club, I don't know if that's called a club. Again, I don't play golf. But little stick, you know what I mean. So there's that. And again, I want to make sure I don't cover up those letters, but I kind of put it near there. I'll put the little baseball cap on top of the A. I thought that would look cute right there. And then attach all of the balls. So the basketball is going to go down first with some foam adhesive. And then I will attach the other ball, so the football. And then I will put the little baseball. I'm going to rearrange them just a little bit here to make room for that baseball. And then I'll go ahead and attach that one right there. So there's where all my little elements are. So now I'm going to take that second piece and I'm going to adhere it behind, or actually on top of the mountain range, so behind the letter. So I'm just kind of arranging it where I want it to be. I've already added glue to the back of it. And so I like where it is right there. And it looks super cool. I love that, all that dimension. So of course, I forgot all about the sentiment because I always do. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. And this is like a leftover piece of that wood grain paper. And I've cut it out with a little strip. And I'm going to attach it to the front. And that just says Happy Father's Day. And I'll just put it right underneath that last window there. All right. And then when you move the card, it looks like the background moves. It's actually really cool. And then I'm just looking inside of the mechanism. So now I'm going to attach a little something onto the back. And of course, I have to play with this more because it's so fun. Okay, so I have stamped and die cut You're the Best and a little hammer there. And that is the finished card. Isn't this fun? And so easy. Like, you can do this with so many themes. You don't have to use only what's included in the die set. You can do it for whatever you want. And of course it stands up. Last peek at the card, and here's a peek of each of the little windows so you can see all the dimension and details. So fun. Such an easy card to make, right? So fun. And I love it. And I love all that dimension and depth. And here's a peek of the back. Thank you so much for joining me today on today's card, for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate it. Stay well and enjoy a lovely crafternoon. And if you'd like to see more, here are a couple suggestions from me. Until next time, bye.